Okay, so let's look at our load file dialog. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of kind of weird stuff in here. Yeah. File dialog. So there's some weird stuff here. File, load file, load file. File dialog pop up. Then we have file confirmed. And then there's loading branch, load branch. All right, let's just make a function class called load, tree load, or just loader. Tree loader? I guess we'll just call it tree loader. And I guess it doesn't need to be a node. I don't think it needs to be a node. I think yeah, let's make it a node. Okay. And then what we're going to do is rip all this crap out. Put it in the tree loader. And what can we get away with here? So file dialog, we want to move that into tree loader. And then what we'll do is on ready, we can check to see if we are, because we might not want to use file dialog now. We do a new statement here. Okay, so now we're going to start making our code be a little more sane. We're going to rip this out. Slindy, how's it going? And then we have save and save as. We're going to Lisp machine with a BL88 8008. That's, or sorry, 808. There we go.
Shut up and take my money.
Nice. Oh, thank you for the gifted subs, Medusa. I've been eating out a lot lately for like a decade, but a lot lately. And I can't tell you how amazing broccoli and cheese is right now. Broccoli cheese is like, that was a big one for me. Resource saver save. Okay, so this needs to be the file. Broccoli. Mm-hmm. So now we need to bring in tree loader. Tree. See, if we call it tree loader and then we have a tree loader.load, right? No. Tree manager? My wife and I had 3 go-to meals. One was throwing broccoli in the oven, tossing in a big bowl of seasonings. Love that stuff so much. Sometimes I shove a bowl with cheese and then grill some actual cheese on top onto the griddle for maximum luxury. Dude, you know what's really good is grilled corn. Grilled corn, man. Yeah, you know what? I need to start barbecuing again. I need some zen, man. I think barbecuing is the sort of Western man's meditative thing. Not that it's just like a male only thing, but there's something about just kind of being quiet and staring at a fire that's very soothing. Grilled corn is so good, like every Romanian loves it. What's that, King of the Hill? Mm-hmm. yeah. What Vim color scheme? So I'm on Omarchi. I can tell you the theme that I'm on, if that helps you. Style, theme. How do I see the active theme? Style. I think I'm on Capuchin. I don't know how to say that. Capuchin? Am I saying something dirty right now? I'm on that one. Should we do a different one right now? What should we do? I got a bunch here. This Kanagawa looks interesting. Osaka Jade. This one's kind of cool. It might be Tokyo Night. I might be on Tokyo Night as well. That's a possibility. I'm locked in, thinking about your mom. So we want to create a file dialog and we have to add to the scene. With Pikachu in the background? Yeah. Look at Pikachu. Let me move off the scene here. There we go. Pikachu staring us down. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I just have the default for Omarchi. I think I am going to eventually leave Omarchi because I find myself at this point, I get it. I get Arch. I get Hyperlin. I get it. I understand these things a little bit better. And I'm tired of having my setting changes get wiped every time I update Omarchi. And so I think I'm ready to just kind of roll my own thing, but I really don't have the time to do that right now. So Lunesta, anybody with kids out there, Have you guys noticed this sucky duality of punishment thing? I was talking to my daughter about this, but I'm like, anytime I have to dole out a punishment, it's actually a punishment for myself too. Because it generally means I'm not going to have any free time. Like, it's like, you're grounded, which we don't do. But if it's like something like that, it just means that now I am not able to have that free time anymore. It's kind of funny. Okay, so if this is an editor interface, then we have to do it a little bit differently. So we'll do a check here. So everything's broken, so chances of getting raided are growing. Chances of being raided growing. Our code is still broken. We're going to go ahead and comment out these little guys here. I know why they're there, but they need to be somewhere else now. And since we're treating this more like an API, we're going to probably use... I can't believe I'm going to say it, but we're probably going to have a signal for some of this. So for instance, we could have a signal saying loading finished. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. Did they lock you in a room? I was grounded once. More than once, but that's not the point. No computer, no hanging out with friends, etc. Grounding now would be so hard to do. I don't remember ever being grounded. Like I've said in the past, my dad would just go straight to the belt. But as far as my mom was concerned, I mean, frankly, we were so poor, life was just being grounded. Life was the grounding. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know, man. I don't really think it happened too much. I mean, trying to think of a time that I really knew I screwed up. I think there was one time my sister and I got in an argument, and we always rented, you know, and I accidentally punched because this is the United States, okay? And so I'm about to say something that makes no sense to the European mind, but I did punch a hole in a wall. No, I didn't punch it. I kicked it. I kicked a hole in the wall. Now, kicking a wall in the States is a bit of a gamble. Because every 16 inches, yes, freedom units, every 16 inches you risk the chance of hitting a 2x4. So, unfortunately, I did not hit a 2x4. And I went straight through the gypsum or the dry rock or sheet rock or whatever you want to call it. I always come to this stream to get away and cheer me up. Oh my God, you just unlocked a core memory I forgot about. So anyways, we tried to patch it up best we could, and I did a damn good job. I textured it and everything. We painted it, and you know what happened? They still charged us. And it's like, what are we going to do? Go to small claims court? And they cut it out, and they redid it worse and charged us for it. So that was a thing. Grades were the biggest thing for me. I always ignored homework, so classes were graded off based off homework instead of tests. I was doomed. Yeah, dude, I was the same. My grade point average, I don't even think Lunesta knows this. Dude, my grade point average in high school, I think I graduated with I'm not even, oh God, am I going to say this? Let me look it up to see what it is in a grade letter. Yeah, my my grade point average, I was at 2.3 GPA. So I had a C plus. I got through high school with C's. But I had the same kind of problem as you, Jacob. I was really good at testing. And so the funny thing is, in terms of the state and the public school system, I was a good student because I gave them the high test scores. All they ever cared about was my grades weren't good enough and I almost didn't graduate. And then of course they cared then because their money and all that stuff ties to that. And so they only cared that I tested great. I did no homework and yeah, it was awful. Funnily enough, so I didn't get to walk. Lunesta knows this. I didn't get to walk with my graduating class, even though I technically graduated. I had to do summer school, and I had the most fun doing that summer stuff for school because I got to learn electronics. I got to learn a whole bunch of really cool shit, and I was having the time of my life. And it was really funny to me. I was thinking about it at the time even. I'm like, this is hilarious. If this was high school, I would love it. If they just leave me the fuck alone and say, here's an electronics book, go figure it out, I would have had the time of my life. But it wasn't like that. I didn't know that. Dude, Jacob, if you could get points for your regular class in summer class and it was like that, I would have done that every year. Because it was really cool. And I had a blast doing it. I got my GED at the end of 11th grade and just went to 12th grade as if it were normal. You're just sort of like, oh man. Oh, Lunesta and I, we had this guy who graduated and he kept coming on campus every day for lunch. He'd come on campus. And it was like multiple years after he graduated. It was really weird. That was a weird thing. He had a girlfriend and then she broke up with him, but he still came and he was like a stalker. It was like a whole drama thing going on there too. But it was also just really creepy. And nothing really happened with that, but yeah. Yeah, it was Frank. I have a dream every so I have a dream every year or so where I wake up shocked and I'm like, oh, okay. You have nightmares about class? I never got those. I never had anything like that. No nightmares related to education. I dropped out of last semester, failed Spanish 4 times. So I didn't think I'd graduate anyways. Got my GED and started college before any of my classmates. But I also didn't actually show up very much in the first place. Yeah. I don't know, man. The dreams are usually like, oh crap, I forgot entirely about this class basically. And then I fail. And it's bad. Now, whenever I do have dreams, which are very rare, they're really weird. And they're very visceral and very real feeling. And they're usually like nightmare type things. Like I remember one of them that I can remember. We used to have a bunch of little dogs, and I got this tube like poster thing shipped to me. And it was like 3 inches wide, like on the circumference, and there was something heavy in it sliding around in it. And I opened it up and it was one of our dogs and it was dead. So those are the kind of, when I do have dreams, those are the kind of dreams I have. So, don't know why. Well, actually, after that, the next day when I have a dream like that, I can usually piece together what happened the previous day that made my brain put that together. So like, it's like, oh, I accidentally stepped on my dog's foot and it yelped and I was concerned about it. And then I was moving some stuff around in the garage and there was some there was some old poster tubing stuff, and then I had to go get the mail. I went and walked and got the mail that day, and blah 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 blah. And so my brain's just like, here's a nightmarish dream. But I have all goofy dreams, no nightmares. Sometimes sexy people I don't find sexy. With people I don't find sexy. Last night I dreamed about robbing a Dunkin' Donuts with my friend's kid. Wow. What? Break it down. Did you guys wear a mask? What are we talking about here? My daughter tries to will dreams into existence. Shit. So she tries to like actively participate in her sleep. So I did watch Inception again, and I'm even more confused about what I think is going on. I have settled on that the whole thing is a dream. I'm kind of settling on that right now. Like lucid dreaming. Yeah, she tries really hard to like think about certain things and repeat them in her head and all that stuff before she falls asleep, so she'll dream about it. If you want spoilers now, no, just link them to me. But the working theory that I have that it's not that. The key is the plane to me with how this all works. No, we were ordering donuts. She pulled a gun and we got away in a school bus. I don't really remember the details, but I texted my friend about it this morning. That's awesome. I used to be able to lucid dream. I can't anymore. Lucid dreaming is rad and real. I did when my mom passed. Studio binder. Is this based on any real thing, or is this just a theory? I'm scrolling through it. I don't see. Well, I know that Michael Caine said that any scene that he was in was not a dream. He wasn't dreaming. And I know that, listen, for me, that part of it isn't important. And nobody talks about the thing I'm about to talk about. Like, typically, in the theories and breakdowns that I have. Here's where everything falls apart for me, and I want to try and think about it a little bit more. He talks about the totems being something that you can feel and hold and know its weight and style, and whether or not you're in a dream or not, okay? He talks about his wife's totem being one that only didn't work in dreams, right? So that's something screwy's there. The other thing, too, is that he's using his wife's totem. Where's his? And what is his? Right? The other thing about this, it all comes down to the wife to me. The other thing is, whose dreams were they entering? They talk about how they were experimenting with going down multiple layers in a dream, multiple dreams within a dream, right? But whose dream did they enter first
So you're just an old hacker like
Because
me, but
that's the key
this guy's
to it
just
all.
an idiot.
That's the key to it all. Whose dream were they entering? Who was the dreamer? So and he never says. He only wears, yeah. So when he's not wearing the ring, that's when he's in reality because his wife is gone. But then he doesn't have a totem. And he's constantly using his wife's totem to determine whether or not he's in reality, which is weird because her totem doesn't tell you whether or not you're in reality. Hers only supposedly tells you when you're not in reality. Here's the other thing about her totem. He changed it. As far as he's telling in his recollection of events, he's talking to this girl that he brought in, and he's saying, I tried to remind her of a truth that what they were in was not real. And that's what gnawed away at her. That's the inception that he did to his own wife kind of thing. But he also says something about her totem. He basically implies, and there's a series of shots that imply that he changed his totem. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I never see anyone talk about. You age when you're in the dream. They show him get old with his wife. They cut back to the same shots where they're young, and they show that it actually happened when they were old and that they got old together in limbo, right? Okay. So establishing that, I'm just going to go back to one other thing about this. If you remember the movie, when they're doing the heist, the job where they're trying to incept the one guy, he goes to limbo first with, what's her name? I can't remember her character name. He goes into limbo with her, right? He's there before, what is his name? Saito? It's Saito, right? He's in there before Saito dies, right? When Saito dies, they know he's going to go into limbo. Saito dies before Cobb goes to limbo. When Cobb finds Saito, Saito is old and Cobb is not. Another thing, he washes up on the shores of limbo already when he goes with the girl to get to his wife, right? But then when he meets Saito, he's what? Washing up on the shores of limbo. And Saito is old and he is not. I think that's one of the biggest clues to something else going on here, but I don't know what it means. And I need to watch it again to think about it. But Cobb is not old and Saito is. And that to me is a big sign of something else. And the movie starts. Here's the other thing. Okay, I'm just going to go that I don't think a lot of these theories are putting certain things together. When Mal, at the beginning of the movie, it flashes forward to the end of the movie when he's waking up on the shores of Saito's it starts with a flash forward. He's waking up on the shores and he's seeing the Padoga or whatever it's called, and it's Saito's building, and he's being dragged in to Saito, and Saito's old, and he starts spinning the top, and he says, he says all this stuff, and are you here to kill me? Anyways, so the thing about that, all of that, the building that he's in and the architecture of it all, when they're trying to steal the corporate information from Saito at the very beginning of the film, the character that's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? I don't remember his name. I don't remember anyone's names. Doesn't really matter. The character that's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Mal makes a comment, we must be in this is his architecture. He loves this style of architecture. She says that. She points out the building. It's the same fucking building that he goes to when he falls into Saito's dream. But they're in her architecture, the girl's architecture that they hired. It's her architecture of everything. Now they're supposedly in Mal's limbo, right? Supposedly. But why are they seeing architecture that would be from his friend who's an architect? So that doesn't line up either. But my working theory is that he's actually being incepted. That the idea that he can finally break free of the realities. I think the real story about the movie is that he's got these constructed dream memories that he's going into, and they're going to break him free of this cycle of regret and remorse by making him make certain realizations so he can finally break free and be with his kids. But the last thing that I'll say, that I think there's some screwy stuff going on and he might not be dealing with reality pretty much ever, is that she kills herself. Supposedly, now I'm pretty sure he says they go to Paris for their honeymoons. That's where they go for their honeymoon, right? Hey.
I wanna do the typing practice.
Okay, can you talk to Mama about that?
I talked to her, but she said you took it.
Well, I have the laptop. I need the laptop. It's out on the table out there. So sorry, that's my little boy. So the last thing that I'll say, and this is why I'm like, but I think, yeah, overall, it's like, it's hard to distinguish what reality is, and that having a basis of like testing and knowing where you are in reality is like a kind of important thing. So what was I saying? So the Cobbs thing, and then I forget all the character names. But what was it? There was one other thing that was like another really clear something's off. Like something's off with the overall. Oh, shit. I can't remember. There's one other thing. Paris. Thank you. They honeymoon in Paris, right? The whole premise of the movie supposedly is to get him to be able to go back to his children in the United States, because Paris is where he can go because they don't extradite. But she killed herself in Paris. He's a criminal in Paris. If anything, he should be going to the United States and hope that he doesn't get extradited to Paris. He got framed for her murder by her in Paris. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm safe here. I haven't seen Shutter Island, no. But you know, another good movie that's a trip like this, if you haven't seen it, is The Machinist. I don't think they specified it as Paris. That dude, I know, Miss Cricket. I know they don't specify it, but that's fucking Paris. But I think they do specify it. I'm pretty sure he says they honeymoon in Paris. Yeah, The Machinist is a good one. All right, yeah, I'll check out Shutter Island. Yeah, The Machinist is great. And it's in the same wheelhouse as this. And another one that's good is The Jacket. If you haven't seen The Jacket, that's another good one. And then, of course, if you haven't seen Pi, you should watch Pi as well. These are all kind of in the same wheelhouse. Yeah, The Jacket's good. It's got Adrian Brody's, I think, the main character in it. And Keira Knightley's in it. 2005. But have you seen K-pop? I have seen K-pop Demon Hunter. But yeah. So here's my theory. This is my whole theory about Inception. Because the ultimate question is, what's reality? What's when he doesn't have his ring on, right? Not really. Because according to his wife, the question to me is, whose dream did they enter? Whose dream were they going into, and who was the architect? If you answer that, you know whether or not she's right or he's wrong. And I think that's the key to it all. If the dream, the entire thing, if it was in someone's head, yes. If it's her dream, he needs to break out of it. He hasn't done that yet. She left. He's alone there, and he doesn't even know it.
Does she even exist?
That's another possibility, is that he never had one.
I'm sorry, but we can't figure out how to get out of this. He really wants to type it.
Okay, you just bring up Steam. Oh, there it is.
How do I do that?
Spacebar, Windows key and spacebar, and then you can search for it. But there we go.
Okay.
I got Mavis Beacon working on the laptop, and my son really wants to.
I don't want to do it.
Let me
I know how to type, but
let me just Steam.
making rusty.
But I one of the theories that I have is that the whole heist and everything is to get him to stop entering these memories. Here's my theory. This is my theory that I'm trying to formulate. Here's my theory. The entire premise of the heist and everything is to plant the idea into him to stop going into these recorded memory dreams that he keeps entering into, so they can go back to reality and see his kids again, right? You never ever see him finish looking at the totem, ever. Do you ever see him roll that totem and watch it fall over? Not once. Okay? Not even at the end. I think what happened was he went to his kids, he rolled that totem, he's going to come back to that desk and see that it's still rolling and realize his wife was right the entire time. The entire point of the movie is to get him to leave the dream world that he keeps visiting, to go back to his memories of his deceased wife, who's never really dead, and that they're trying to break him out of it. So what I'm suggesting is that people are entering his world in the same heist manner that he's doing supposedly to this character to free him. And so the introduction of this new female element, this woman that comes in and starts talking to him about everything, is there as, just like in the heists, to get him to start to deal with the supposed mourning of his wife, so he can finally let go, spin the damn top, see his kids, come back and realize he's been dreaming the whole fucking time. That's my theory. And that we never actually get to see the moment where he finally realizes, oh my God, this was all a dream and I gotta leave. And my wife's alive and I gotta go back to my kids. That's my theory. So, and that's the whole thing. And to me, the part that really made me start to question it is when Saito tells him, he says it's impossible, and he tells him, just like Inception, huh? And then all of a sudden, it feels like the movie is taking this weird turn. And I think that's the moment that the seed is planted. The whole point of Inception is that the idea has to come from, the person has to believe it's their idea, right? And I think the entire movie is really that seed being planted in Cobb so that he can finally break free of it. And watching the movie from that perspective, you can kind of see how it's happening. But I'm trying to think of it as, if this is real, if this is the case, and there's a heist going on in his dream world, trying to get him to break out of it, right? People are entering his wife's dream or something like that, to try and pull him out of it. Or maybe he's just unconscious on a bed somewhere, right? Suddenly, because there's a part where he's being chased. They talk about how the projections come and chase him down, and there's a part where he's being chased and he can't fit through this small alleyway that's way too small. It doesn't make any sense, but that's supposedly where reality is. And I think those are all maybe intentional to throw you off or whatever. I think the movie's brilliant in the sense that it makes you question everything, and that's kind of the point. Yeah, I did fix the computer while going off the rails about it. It should be called intervention. Yeah. But yeah, she comes in as a psychologist almost to try and ease him out of it. I actually, it's possible that's his wife who's coming in as a projection. Because that's the other thing they establish is that somebody can fake their like you can change your presence in someone's dream and look like somebody else and impersonate them. And so it's possible that's literally happening to Cobb and he's not even realizing it. The other hints to this idea for me are that the guy who does the impersonation say, what's the best way to do Inception? And they're talking about it. And he says it's through his dad. He says the key to all this is his dad. That's the most close relationship that he has to all this. Another weird thing. Here's the last weird thing that I'm just going to point out. He goes to see his dad at the, he's a professor who works at a college, right? In France. And he goes there to visit him. He goes to the door. And for some reason at this nice, lovely institute of door, there's a fucking broken piece of glass through the door that he's looking through to see his dad. And something about that to me is really odd. And it's framed when it goes to them having there's a 2-shot where they're talking. Everything is framed so that window is up in the corner and you see it. And something about that is really weird to me because that's supposedly where reality is. And it's such a weird thing that and here's the last thing I'll say is that he talks about the dreams just starting and you don't remember where you began. Pay attention to the movie when it tells you where they're going next. He says, where are you going? And they say, oh, I'm going to go here, right? So the characters are telling you where they're going to go, establishing shot, that's where they went, right? But there's a few times that does not happen and they're just somewhere. And that's weird to me because of the rules that they're establishing about the way dreams just start. And so I feel like there's like some hints about certain things with all that stuff. Anyways, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to my, but yeah, I watched the movie, the last time I watched it, my head just exploded. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I think this is all about Cobb and his like journey. But they openly talk about, I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to go to this place and all that stuff. And then bam, we're there. Cobb is the Leonardo DiCaprio character. So anyways, it's kind of like putting all the Zelda games together. But I feel like with him, he really thinks things through. And so I think there is like a through line in it. He wanted the audience to decide. Yeah. No, and that's like a clever move. I do think there's also some weird stuff in the movie that doesn't add up about how you get out of the dream state, falling into limbo, and then if it's true that you just die to wake up, then why doesn't he just, if Saito dies and falls into limbo, why doesn't Saito just kill himself right away? Why is Saito waiting for Cobb to wash up on the shores of limbo again? What does that even mean? Why is that happening? Why? Cobb is the one who's saving him. Or Saito is the one who's saving Cobb. That's my theory. Saito is in some way in connection with a lot of that stuff. But I don't know. Because like what happens to him appears to be an accident, but you never actually see him get shot. So anyways, I think it's interesting. It's a good movie. I only saw it the one time in theaters and I'm like, it's cool, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think I'll watch it again. And then I watched it again much later and I was like, wait a minute. It's a good movie. I don't know though. I do think that Nolan has a bit of pessimistic slant in his movies. I think that Interstellar is actually a very pessimistic movie. I have a hypothesis. Give Cricket ambiguity and he'll live with him for the rest of his life. I bought the DVD of the War one and I actually never finished it. The War one. Oh, the one about the rescue of the soldiers back to England. Yeah, for uh-huh. Interstellar is downright depressing. Yeah. I think the part that really shows this sort of Interstellar, to me, the argument Interstellar is that we would literally need that faced with real problems on Earth, we would literally need a Deus Ex Machina to save ourselves. That we would need some sort of crazy beyond science saving, and that we couldn't really do it ourselves. But the part where they're like the moonland denial stuff and everything is part of public education is just wild to me. But it does have, to me, the whole movie has this very negative like slant to it. So that was wild watching Interstellar with my daughter. When they got to the part where he was visiting his daughter and she was old. She just burst into tears. And it's because it reminded her of grandma. The hospital bed and all that stuff and the old lady and all of it. It was too hard for her. I saw Inception long ago. Interstellar to me is a lesson. Don't screw up what you got because no one will be there to save you. Yeah. Well, I think the other important thing is to not stop reaching for beyond Earth. Like, we should, as much as possible, push ourselves to leave the Earth, like, because it's hard, but we could do it. M, how's it going? I got to start doing some shout outs here. Shout out to M Audio. I'm in the middle of a refactor here. So I was talking about Inception again. Why do you think that to Cricket to leave Earth? Well, I think because there's so much benefit to one, we've gained so much knowledge from just being in zero gravity. There are there's entire drugs that we can't manufacture because of gravity. So there's possible cures to things in a zero G, in a weightless environment that we don't even know about. So there's that, but it's something hard, and we should strive to do hard things and try and push ourselves out of our comfort zones and into a place where we are always uncomfortable. If we are comfortable on Earth and placid, then we should really push ourselves to go beyond that comfort. And I feel like if we can all look in another direction and see the moon and see that there's people there's people on there right now. And like the scale and scope of that would be huge. Like a persistent lunar colony, a base there, something like that. And just put ourselves in the perspective of, we should try and and I think I think the more people that can leave and see Earth and stuff like that is important too, probably. The energy required to become interplanetary or even intergalactic seems insane. I don't think there's enough. Rocket fuel is mainly cold. It's the combination of a few elements that don't involve anything like a plane or a jet. It can be manufactured pretty easily. So it's not like it's using fossil fuels or anything like that. But I mean, we've solved the energy problem. We just refuse to use the solution, which is nuclear power. Well, yeah, but the idea of even going to the moon seemed impossible, and then we did it. So, so I think that it's totally possible. It's just that we can't conceive of it right now. It's putting the problem into radioactive trash. Well, I mean, given that or global warming, I think we chose wrong. And actually, most new designs for nuclear energy don't require the cooling problem. Well, yeah, but fusion isn't a known thing. Nuclear is, right? So we already have a solution and we don't even accept it. And then what are we going to do with fusion? We're going to shut that down for some reason. I think it's a far better solution than the routes of shutting all power plants down like we've done in California and stuff. It's finite. Well, 100-year power. I think it's a good. I disagree. I disagree. I mean, and now we're gonna have what? Most of our energy consumed by LLMs and shit. So why don't they go build a nuclear power plant and use that instead? But like in California, they just started shutting down 100-year nuclear power plants. Power plants that would have rolled for 100 years, they shut them down. But yeah, I mean, they've done that, and it's all because of fears of nuclear energy. Right. But what California did was they started buying their energy from other states that get them from dirty sources. So I think that's the negative thinking that brings everything down. Yeah, fusion's a pretty wild idea. I think nuclear is safer than fusion personally, but it'd be nice to make our own oxygen. Well, that's the weird thing to me about carbon output is, in theory, we just need to plant enough trees and the problem zeroes itself out. Well, we're beyond nuclear bombs. I mean, hydrogen bomb is more destructive than a nuclear bomb in terms of like evaporation, like purely just putting something in smithereens. But yeah, I think, we're deproliferating nuclear weapons and we should have been proliferating nuclear power plants. That's my opinion. But instead, most places are just shutting them down. I'm pretty sure Germany's doing that. California did it. And I mean, it would solve a lot of grid problems for a lot of spaces and get us off coal. But I believe personally that the anti-nuclear power sentiments are powered by the lobbying and NPO groups funded by fossil fuels. I think the fears for nuclear power are overstated, and that it is a rational choice. Now, obviously, we've had like the meltdown situations and all that stuff, but it's my understanding that there are new designs, and they are designed in I forget which European country designed them, but there are new designs for plants that will not melt down. Tapier, how's it going? Slater, what's up? Solar needs a lot of minerals too. Yeah, I think it's all kinds, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. I in the States, I would push for these things because we're so backwards right now that we need these things. We have to go all or nothing with a lot of things. Is somebody arguing against nuclear plants? I get the concern. I'm going to be open to the conversation just because I think that it is an answer that we should seek. But it is sad to watch basically free energy be denied. I mean, it's basically unlimited energy. The amount of plutonium needed for the output is insane. Like what you get for the weight of it. It's like, why aren't we doing this? It's not free, but think about think about the offset though. Well, right, but the trade-off is in my opinion, the trade-off is worth it. You don't build on fault lines, you don't do certain things like that, right? There's like some obvious things that you don't do with it. Oversights and regulations are necessary and blah, 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 right? All that stuff, 100% agree. And like Fukushima, for instance, that was a failure of government because they were trying to do it so that they would have the guards against the tsunamis and stuff. And they had something, but they knew it wasn't enough and they still didn't do anything about it. Yeah. But yeah, I think the trade-off versus the coal output, especially for third world areas, supposedly third world. I hate that term. But saying we don't underestimate the industry needed to get processed the uranium plutonium, the water needed to cool, and the insane amount of radioactive trash you get. But I mean, hasn't a lot of that been solved, Fiera? Yeah, closed fuel cycles. But they're getting better and better and better. And then, yeah, there's a lot now that don't need the that the meltdown is basically an impossible.
Shut up and take
result.
my money.
They dump it into the salt mines in the ocean. Well, I know we don't do it in the ocean here. But plastic mines of the future. Process or mine the minerals. Well, yeah, but again, so the energy, I would rather those be used for nuclear power than nuclear bombs. So if it's such a rare quantity, I would prefer that the deproliferation of nuclear weapons results in the proliferation of nuclear power. So we have the energy, we have what we need to do that.
Is that too much?
No, it's good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the fears about it are overstated in my opinion, but I just think that the trade-off that we made by not going hard on that route was a mistake. In my opinion. But yeah, I mean, the energy stuff is interesting. I think the truth is, though, about energy is that most people don't want to take what it's take the steps necessary to reduce their consumption of energy. Truly. Only one power source is dumb. Yeah, I'm with you on that. If all of your electricity came from nuclear waste per year, the size of a brick, high-level portion, about 5 grams from the nuclear association. Fukushima, yeah. Google is saying nuclear, but that's because of supply and demand, Jacob. The question about that number is if that's based on supply and demand, then is that the cost to produce or how much it costs? Because those are two different things. What if the general cost for nuclear power is high and the number of plants we have is shrinking, that would make sense to me. But I'm pretty sure as soon as output compared to coal, it's far better. Or it's far more effective. Or is that... I don't know what the numbers you're showing, Jacob, mean. Nuclear waste per person is 5 grams per person. Oh, I see. That's what you're saying, Nathir. But I tend to get triggered and then insult people. Nuclear requires more manpower and rare resources. Well, yeah, hydro's good, but hydro also has issues. And you know, it's just involves the environment in the area. I mean, it's like, oh, let's build in the desert, so we have to desalinate water. That's a good idea. You know, stuff like that. But another reason why I would say I would opt for nuclear is Iran. What we're doing in Iran right now is pretty clearly involved in trying to lower the cost of a barrel, right? So nuclear power could also have a dispelling effect on our oil crisis in the sense of like the fact that we're so hooked on it. We reduced our energy consumption 66% one year. It was super high, so it wasn't that hard, but it wasn't easy by any means. Yeah, it takes a conscious effort, and I think that just people aren't willing to even do that. Yeah. No, energy, we were talking about, like, I was talking about traveling. We were talking about interstellar, and then I was talking about leaving the planet and stuff like that. But yeah, energy came up in the conversation. Billion hamsters and a billion hamster wheels. There, I just solved world power issues. Let's get back to the forest. Done. So that's tons of carbon. That's tons of carbon in the air that wouldn't exist with nuclear, right? That many tons of carbon. I'd make that trade personally. I got a question. I'm not a coder at all, but I've been vibe coding a CRM project for this call center, and they're paying me to build. My question is, do you think I'm able to fully do this with AI and my own product knowledge? That's a question for you to answer. I don't know, dude. I know a customer. I know what a CRM is. Yeah. I would say the high risk that you're entering with this is that you're processing payments likely, and the chance of it being unsecure being high, or the chance of having an office space like rounding error is high. I'm hired by them for regular IT. We're so screwed up. Oh man. Well, I don't know, dude. You got to answer that question yourself. If you have to ask it, I think the answer is no. But that's, I mean, you can try and it might work. They use merchants for gateway payments and down payments. I would be extremely cautious as yourself to make sure that you're legally protected in case you do screw up and they get screwed. Do not do this as a sole proprietorship. You need a business spun up. You need some level of protection, even though it might not be enough. Like a CRM is no joke, really. So I don't know. I would as much as possible get it in writing that you will not be liable for anything that goes wrong. If they know specifically that you're vibing it, I would legally protect your ass as much as you can. Yeah, what Two Bob said. You can't be held liable, especially if they know that that's what you're doing. You have to be able to have but if you're not processing payments or anything like that, or your system is not going to be hooked into anything involving money, then you're probably free and clear. If this is a system that is only going to be accessed internally, you're probably okay. If this is a system that's going to be not only internal but external facing, you probably need to be you got to know what you're doing. But as soon as it starts timing into payment systems, auto pays, bill paying, like anything like that, you gotta I think that's when you say, hey, this is a line. I can't do this. It's not safe. But if it's just customer relationship data and that's it, then I'd say you're in the clear. Right. I think the majority of the data is just for future marketing. Yeah, I mean, you're probably fine. But also, why not just an Excel spreadsheet? Like, why even have something you call a CRM? Well, you just need a good Excel spreadsheet, frankly. Or Access database. Or some good SQL queries. But well, if it's a CRM, there might not be any payment processing. But yeah, I just continuously ask yourself, does this need to be a web panel? Can this just be a daily synced Excel spreadsheet? Can I just give the marketing guys a customer spreadsheet that they can then merge into another one? Can it be that simple? Does it need to be software and all this other shit? Probably not. And ultimately, a lot of times that shit just goes back into Excel anyways. So I would say just never leave Excel. Especially and if they like charts and shit, Excel's got you covered, man. if they had a SQL query to it for them. Yeah. Okay. So if it's a SQL data, even then you can do ODBC connections to
that's
SQL
cool.
from Excel. So
Yeah, cool.
you could
You think
still
it's cool?
like there's
Cool.
it just depends on the flow you
That's
want,
cool.
but you don't necessarily need to know a lot of programming stuff. Thank you for the raid, Auntie. Auntie? Auntie's doing something pretty cool. If I remember correctly, Auntie is working on a game with their sister. Is that right? Do I have the right group? Am I correct? Sister. You need the Vader saying sister real creepily redeem for your channel. Sister. Irad, what's up? Thank you for the raid. If you've got any links or anything to share, go ahead and do that. Don't feel free. You're an auntie. Just finished designing our combat system and everything for our tutorial. Nice. Irad, can I show you something? You have to tell Conrad. I haven't seen Conrad in a while. Auntie M. I am an uncle. As am I. Wait for it. Con's on a break. I'm ready, Irad. Take me, man meat. Jesus, how many updates? I just downloaded this last night. What is going on? Valheim is too involved to be played.
Shut up and take my money.
Valheim plays you. Valheim. Welcome to Valheim. Oh, brother. Welcome to Valheim. I think I have to use OpenGL. Oh, welcome to Valheim. All right, now we're going to play Valheim, everybody. Valheim. Valheim. Over here right now, Valheim. I'm sick of your attitude, Valheim. Anyways, get me on the server, Irad. I want to be on your server, baby. Show me the way. How do I do this? Someone asked, is that your German? And I'm still laughing about it. It is my German. Valheim. But you got a server, right? What do I do? Do I hit this button? I'm naked. How do I get to a server? Why am I naked? Valheim. Valheim, baby. Anyways. Give me that good server info, brah. Valheim. 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 To me, it can mean anything. Valheim's like the word snow for in Eskimo. No American trying to sound German. I used to be able to do Werner Herzog really good, but not anymore. No, all of my accents are very comically exaggerated, like the Swedish Chef, you know, to the point where it doesn't fit at all. Anyways, let me get this over here. Valheim. 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 Anyways, back to work. Nuclear power is the way and the light It is the only power we should use. I'm not saying that. I am saying that just like how Walmart pays people to show up at town halls to sway public opinion, that it is extremely likely that the oil manufacturers and producers of the world shifted opinion on nuclear power. That's all. I think that the fears are especially now aren't as necessary. Vanish. Please give power. Americans always make Germans angry. It sounds more like a Russian trying to speak German. Hell yeah. I don't know what that means. Valheim. Ah, Valheim. Is that better? Is that better, Tapir? Valheim. Ah. That's like if Fozzie Bear was German. Valheim. Waka waka. Valheim. I forgot the password. Oh, customers must have loved Chernobyl. Oh yeah, I'm not denying like that stuff is like for real problem. 100%. Like meltdowns and all that, obviously. It's spaghetti. I'm basing it off of reducing our carbon output in the most fast way like possible. And we would shift one problem to another problem, right? But it's kind of hard to catch carbon and do something with it. So that's the part where I think we made a choice with not going a little bit harder on it, and I think it was the wrong one. Cricket is being racist against Germans. Do what I tell you and shut up. Could save the bees. I think that does a lot for carbon. The carbon, the heat from the planet warming. Please save the bees. Dude, bugs in general. Fiera, there's a really good talk that this guy there's this guy who started in the 70s recording bug splats on cars, and the number of bugs, because bug splatter on cars was like a thing, guys. That was like a real thing, and it like doesn't happen anymore because there's like no bugs. We're slowly losing bugs, so he kept track of it over time, and it's like this, like the number of bug splats on cars is like, and he created a system for determining what bug splat was on the car based on the splat. They had like an encyclopedia of bug splats and what bugs they were. And it's just really sad to watch the number of bug splats go down. And they don't have an explanation for it. Is there any modding that needs to be done? We're the last gen to see fireflies. That's wild. The bugs got smarter. I think probably it has to do with pesticides and the depletion of ecosystems through killing bugs so that we don't have plants with food bites and bug bites in them. I can say something super hot take-ish if there needs to be mods. I mean, you can say whatever you want. I'm not, so long as you're nice to everybody. I mean, the thing for me is just don't be mean to everyone, you know? I thought it was related to start mass spraying crops with pesticides. Yeah. If I said something else, yeah, I meant pesticides, like things to keep plants from getting bug bites on them and shit. the lack of wildflowers, plants, etc. Yeah. In our area, we have wild sunflowers that we plant around crops. And we just let them go like crazy. Food desserts. But yeah, it's we're it does feel like we have like solved certain problems and we just refuse to actually do that. Food desserts. We can blame California for a lot of that. Dude, don't even get me started, man. I mean, they just initiated one of the stupidest things with the age verification shit. And I know it seems minor right now, but we all know where it's going. Can I make tree loader static? Can I make tree loader static? Do you think we can make this static? They can go. I don't care. The tomatoes? Dude, man, tomatoes, I still don't understand tomatoes. And I've had the good ones. The ones in the States when you get at like fast food are not real tomatoes. But even the real ones, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm with you on that. But the thing about tomatoes is you get tomato sauce and you get other tomato products, and those are baller. So I vote against sacrificing tomatoes. We need, thanks to Italy, the tomato is useful. Thanks to Italy, the tomato is useful. You want to know something wild? There are no vegetables. Vegetables is a manufactured word. Created by the condiment corporations to sell condiments. Cricket's a soulmate. Cricket, are you also tomato hater? But everything else that has tomatoes is fine. Yes, 100%. Tapir. Tomatoes are awful. All words are manufactured. Yes. But the way that we use vegetable is we point to something and we say, oh, that's a vegetable. But it's like, no, that's a root, actually. And then we point to something else and we say, oh, that's a vegetable. And it's like, no, that's a leaf, actually. And so the word vegetable has created a level of confusion about what plants are that didn't need to be there. And it ties around the idea of an edible thing. But yeah, no, all language is made up. Language is an agreed upon shared hallucination. Bruschetta. Oh yeah. Yeah. Bruschetta with like mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, and then and then some tomato, like a slice of tomato and mozzarella. Yeah, that's baller. That's a good one. But see, you're warming the tomato, and so then the consistency it becomes less tomato-ish. There's no cheese on that usually. But it's a spread generally, right? On a crunchy bread thing? What am I thinking of? Let me look it up. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, you do a little bit of olive oil and you make some crunchy ass bread. Oh hell yeah. No, this is great. But again, you gotta massage tomatoes so much. Base tomato is awful. We're all Starducks. You know another wild take about any energy source? It's all solar power. Any energy source we produce on Earth is solar. But I guess maybe, well, no. Geothermal. Well, yeah, you're getting away, but that is basically like the power of the sun inside the earth. But I got you. But like, oh, we burn trees for energy. That's solar, right? Oh, we use fossils like carbon, coal for energy. Oh, that came from the trees. That's solar. Oh, let's use some oil for our production of plastics and other energy. And it's like, oh, that's from fossils. And all those guys ate plants. And the ones that didn't ate the ones that did. That's all solar. Actually, nuclear power might be the one that you could argue. And I guess thermal. Yeah, thermal would work too. But it's like water power. It takes the sun to melt ice, to evaporate water so it can rain again, so that it can then be flowing water. So most power sources that we have are solar, like if you really break it down. Current is also the sun. Yep. I mean, the moon participates in keeping the water from turning into just sludge. So you gotta appreciate life in general, guys. We are living in a very special, like the fact that we have consciousness, the fact that we have our planetary alignment such that it is, the fact that we have the moon and the positions and that it exists at all. Also, we could be here is wonderful. It's really great. I love you guys, man. Have you ever looked at your own hands? Our nuclear fuels came from exploding suns. This is true. Yeah. And everything was basically a star once. So it's all solar energy. Geothermal is also the sun then. Yeah, because we're cooling down. We used to be a ball of gas. Or a ball of just a flaming ball. We get it. Your mom gets it, Tapir. Tell her I said hi. I'll have some of what you're having. It's all just Big Bang energy. That's what your mom said. Yes, it's true. I'm just on your mom jokes now. Anyways. All right. I guess I should get back to work. So I think we can make this static, though, is what I'm saying. Red just dropped update. Oh, for Red Cabin Games? Got a game of it. All right. Fiera is like #1 playtester for Red Cabin. We say this and we still don't even know what the fuck 98% of the universe is. Just Big Bang energy. Sausages. Of course, for Germans, everything is base sausage. I did make a base taco number system. I made a numbering system with a friend that I called base taco. And you could say anything that sounded like a Taco Bell order, but it was actually a number. I had like worked it out. The trick to it was to have that you started as the zeros and the number got larger based on what you were doing with that was the trick to it. I have the paper somewhere. I wrote it down. 90% of the universe is dark energy, which means they need more solar energy, clearly. Oh, God. Dude, physics is the breakdown of observable reality. Like, it is weird that when you think about, like, what matter does and everything, like, it's kind of weird that anything is held together. It's a little freaky. It kind of freaks you out. "98% weird, mysterious name," so people stop asking. How some animals evolve to see the things. Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading Hail Mary Project with my daughter right now. It's a good read. And it's a fun read. It's a fun one. I recommend it. Some of those things are kind of talked about in the book as well. It's neat stuff. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Apparently the movie trailer really gives some things away that it probably shouldn't. But we're about halfway. Living on a prayer, guys. Whoa! Living on a prayer. Whoa! Taco Bell is good. File dialog. File confirmed. File confirmed. So over here, I'm jealous. I gotta say, I'm jealous of Auntie. It's Auntie, right? Auntie's the way to go. I'm jealous of Auntie just because, like, being able to work with a sibling like that on something is dope. That's really cool. A lifetime of memories. Are you familiar with Butterscotch Games, Auntie? Butterscotch Games, Butterscotch Shenanigans, I think is their podcast. But they're a brother team working on games together. And they made their more famous game is what is it? Crashlands? You're not familiar. Oh, dang. Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'm going to give you a link. bscotch.net. And then there's a GDC talk that one of the brothers gave called The Last Game I'll Make Before I Die. Which is a good one. I'm just going to give you these links. Just because the sibling thing. There you go. All right. Has anyone heard from Mike R? As someone with an older sister, it's cool to see. Why don't ants get sick? We had a customer, dude, Tapier, when I worked at an ISP, we had a Mike Hawk as a customer, and he insisted that we would say his full name. We'd say, okay, what's your last name, sir? And he'd say Hawk, and he'd say, your first name, and he'd say Mike, and he's like, do you have it right? Do you have my name there? And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, could you read it back to me, sir? And I'd be like, sure, it's Mike Hawk. And I knew he was on the other end just giggling. Oh my gosh. We also had a Michael Jackson, and he was not a fan that his name was Michael Jackson. That was not something you pointed out. There was a note on his account not to do anything about it. The only other fun thing I can share with the ISP I worked at is that we had, who's the Jeopardy guy who passed away? What was his name? He was a customer of ours. His daughter was real nice, but he was an asshole. Michael Bolton. Why should I change my name? He's the one who sucks. Who is the Jeopardy guy? But we had him, Alex Trebek. So we had Alex Trebek as a customer, and all of our the logs for the tech support were in the form of a question. So that was fun. That was a fun little thing we would do. But he was a big asshole. he lived out in like the middle of nowhere and had dial-up. And we were the only ones who could get him working. But man, was he a dick whenever he needed his internet. But I probably shouldn't be saying this stuff. Maybe not. I don't know. Any other fun stories? I mean, this was in the early days of the internet. This was like early aughts. I guess it was a little bit later. I do remember there was an old lady who called, very concerned, very worried, asking if she could get AIDS through email. So that's very era-specific kind of concern to have. Now, there's a great story of a kid who called, who downloaded some, like, he went to a porn site and he was like scared and he was calling and it was his like dad's account and it was like now the computer would start up and it'd just be porn everywhere. And he was like, please help me. Like my dad is going to kill me. And so we all of us pulled together and, tried to get his, porn fixed. Not all of us. But yeah. Other fun stories. The last one that I remember is, we played a lot of Bejeweled back then. It was, the PopCap Bejeweled. It was like the first Bejeweled game and it was a web game. It was like a Java game or something. And, it was like getting really, like we were starting to learn like meta of it and like getting really good at it or something. It was something that involved skill. I don't think it was Bejeweled, but anyways, we're getting really good at it. And, we also got in this habit of muting and like cussing a lot and just like blow off steam. And I was playing against a buddy and he thought he was muted and he started cussing me out because I just beat his high score. And he was on the phone with the lady who had her baby shower, this pregnant lady out with her baby shower, and she thought he was cussing her out. And she called to complain in tears and like it like ruined the shower for her and just destroyed her. I feel bad about that one, but it wasn't me, so there's nothing I could do about it. Paso Robles and Creston. Yep, that's where I live, Paso Robles. Trebek owned and managed a 700-acre ranch near Paso Robles in Creston. Yep, notice Creston Farms, where he bred and trained thoroughbred horses. Wow, that's wild too, because that's wild. I probably then worked for another company where the owner then had some of his horses. I didn't even realize it. Oh my God, that's wild. She was also probably hormonal. Oh, 100%. Not the best thing to happen on a baby shower day. Oh yeah, PibCac. Problem is between chair and keyboard. All that good stuff. Okay. So, can I ask you guys a question? Does init run? Here's my question. If I have a static class, but I need to add something to the scene tree in order for it to be complete, Ready's not going to run if it's not added to the scene tree. And I can't add children on an initializer because we're not in the scene tree when this is happening. Can you can close that window now? Okay. Yes. Tapier, I got a call from somebody. The thing back then was all we ever did was just delete and recreate DUNS, dial-up networking the dial-up networking interface thing and on old Windows 95, 98, all that stuff. So most of our job was mostly just running people through the process of deleting the done and recreating it, because that solved all the problems generally. And I tried to convince them to allow us to create some software we could give on a floppy disk and CD so people could just run that executable and it would recreate the done, but they didn't trust us to do that. So our job was mostly, and it would save them tons of money, but they don't know how to make money, so whatever. Or they didn't want to make more money, or I don't know. It was weird. Anyways, so you have it memorized. You know by asking a few questions if they don't know their operating system how to get it really quickly. You know, you bring up the run command, you type this in, and you know, it's like really easy once you've done it a million times, and you can kind of adjust it based off the intelligence of the person on the other line and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I was running someone through creating a dial-up networking device. It was a new account, or no, they were calling and they said that they had a problem with their connection, and they described it and was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Can you click here? Can you do this? Can you click here and can you do this? Can you delete this? Okay, now go ahead and right click and push and choose add new controller or whatever. And and I'm walking them through all of it. And it's like a 30 fucking minute call. Okay. I finish and I'm like, okay, sir, now go ahead and restart your computer and try and connect again. And we'll see if it works. And I kid you not, he says to me, oh, you wanted me to be at my computer? And I was like, I didn't yell. I was like, in my head, I'm like, ah! And I was like, yes, go ahead and, you know what? Yeah. When you're at your computer, yeah, just call back and I'll go ahead and answer and we'll take care of you for that. And I wrote down his phone number. And when I saw his phone number in the queue, I took my break. I was like, this is someone else's problem. But damn, that was the worst one that I experienced. I was on the call for like, it was a while. And I knew something was up because it sounded like it was a lot of like noise. And I realized he was on his cell phone in the car and I just didn't put it together. But that was one that like made me want to like jump out a window. So that's like the worst one of those stories. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do this then. Oh, yeah, we can. Anytime any of these run, you know what we can do is a really quick, simple check to see if it exists or not. And if it doesn't exist, we create it. How about that? Except we want to be static and we can't add things to the scene when we're static. So we can't be static. All right, fine. See you, Dustin. Can I do this? Is it just me or is it really hot in here? Is that for you, Trish? Oh, you're not Trish. Who's in here? Who goes there? Is it hot in here? Does it feel hot in here?
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Mm.
Especially in this little area.
Yeah, it's very hot. Might be soon time to flip the old AC a Rooney go. It's 95 in my Godot abode. SF feels super European. When it gets hot, yeah, man, SF they don't have AC, right? So on those hot days it gets really hot. I don't think it's common. I don't think it's common in SF. Yeah, something like 90% of dwellings in San Francisco don't have AC. Wait, is it 7? Oh, okay. Did you want to read tonight, Bear? Okay. Without igniting a whole conversation, the coolest natural development around temperature was in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Where the buildings are built in a way to funnel the wind. And actually keep it cool within the houses. They're built different. What's crazy is that most heating and cooling problems can be solved by just digging a deep hole and then pumping the air up from there. And suddenly you have a bunch of free, most people would consider comfortable air in hot and cold climates. And then covering yourself in dirt. With cool towers. Well, I was trying to be clever, and I'm hating life now. So, way to go, Cricket. All this is crap. We have all this file dialog pop-up stuff. We have to simplify. Here's what we're going to do. Load file. What does load file do? It loads a file. Okay? It needs a path. We don't do the pop-up. We do the load. Like that. And then what do we return? We return the thing. What are we returning? We know that we're always going to be returning a resource branch. So we return resource branch. Then we say resource load, path, return, and we can do a bunch of checks there. How about that? Done. There's our static load file. What about save file? Same fucking thing. Almost identical to load file. We go like this. We go booyakasha. We take this down here. And we say, file, resource, saver, save. and we do blank, 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 and then we just return the save function for resource saver does return a value, right? Resource savior. Resource savior save returns error. So we say we return error. Then we return laxol. Save is a function call. Now, save needs a path. So we go like this. And we say save. And then path. And then path. What are we saving? The resource. How do we have the resource? Well, we got more work to do. So we're going to get rid of this. And that. And this. Save path. Branch. Is this anything that we need to do other than just the resource save and load? Is there a reason we need to do it this way? Load file must return a resource branch. So what we could do is attest that the thing that we're doing is the thing that we want. So var resource equals that if we assert resource is resource branch. If not, resource is not resource branch. Okay, and then before this, we check to see if it exists, right? Let's go back. Back to life. Back to reality. Gonna roll back. Man, all this shade thrown out of at your brothers. I don't know, guys. You're up. You gotta tighten those bonds together right now. Strengthen the camaraderie. Okay. So load file, tree loader, load, save. Path cannot be null. Load path. We're going to do a bunch of assertions. File does not exist at. If it does exist, we continue on, or rather, the assertion should kill everything, but we can still continue. Nothing will work right. But we assert, it's fine. We load the path, blah, blah, blah. Resource, return resource, save. We save. Okay. Now, we go back to here. And basically, everything we need is set. The difference now is the creation of the tree and whatnot. So I'm thinking I ripped that out of the tree editor. Now, load can be a little bit more complicated than this too. We have update lumber. So these are only the only two things that we need. Add lumber and update lumber. Lumber after. What's going on? DMs? Irad slid into your DMs. Oh, he did? On Discord? I don't see any on Twitch. New game, create character, join server.
Huh?
Oh, damn. Irad, if you do need help in the future.
So you're just an old hacker like me, but disguised as an idiot.
Cricket, I sent you something nice. If you need help masking your IP and hosting something, I can help you with that.
You okay, guys?
Check out I think it's Engine.
What the dog doing?
Is it Nginx? Nginx? And then there's also Cloudflare also has for one IP
Be yourself.
you can run a proxy.
Be yourself.
Somebody's just slamming the audio redeems. Golf claps abound. Also, the server is going down at the beginning of August. That's what your mom said. I will be right back. I'm going to grab a drink. I'll return in just a moment. Let me get some cool NHK videos going for M. We're going to have one of the cool ones. Where's the one where they travel around everywhere? Soho,
I'm on my
London.
way to Soho via the Elizabeth line, which opened in 2022. Long known as one of the most bohemian areas of London, Soho is considered the place
I'll be
for
right back.
enjoying the arts, revelry, and late-night entertainment.
Next station, Tottenham Court Road.
We've arrived at Tottenham Court Road Station. Ah, the gateway to Soho. I'm so excited to explore this town. Looking forward to checking it out. It is now 10:30 in the morning. Ah, the sun is so bright. Wow, how lucky that the weather is so fabulous. Oh, look, there's a double-decker bus. That's totally my image of London. I think I'll check the map. I got off at the station and I'm now here on Oxford Street. Soho is south of here. I think I'll head toward the most famous tourist spots in London, Regent Street and Piccadilly Circus. Wow, it's beginning to get crowded. There seem to be a lot of small shops along this street. Ah, a record store. Oh, how cool is this? And here's a clothing store. And next door, a very trendy looking spot. And over there, a sneaker shop and clothing store. What a fun place to shop. Now that guy is very stylish. He layered 2 jackets, and he looks so elegant. Hello. It looks like they sell casual clothes here. They say Soho is full of stylish fashionistas. Oh, look at her. She looks fabulous. Hello. I love your coat.
Bugger off, Winker!
What brings you to Soho today?
I'm actually coming to a little sample sale today to hopefully purchase some more items.
Your shoes are also very cool.
My cowgirl boots. Very fitting.
Oh, there's a cowboy on the back of the coat. Is that why you're wearing cowgirl
That's
boots?
a cowgirl
Well, I just,
shirt.
I look flare jeans, I like a cowgirl boot, and I'm kind of going for a bit of a Western look today. That wasn't the intention, it just kind of came together, but yes.
Well, you look fantastic.
Dude, look at
Thank you
that.
very
That
much. Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
she's wearing a tuxedo. What's it? What do they call it? A denim tuxedo. Canadian tuxedo.
Now there's a man with fashion flair.
The
What a
jean
great
jumpsuit.
look.
I know.
Oh, me?
Of course.
Feel important today.
That's a cool outfit.
Oh, thank you. It's casual wear, man. I'm expressing it through my clothing, so that's how I identify myself in it, through my clothing. So this is like the sportswear one, Calvin Klein. That's it. I've just always been like this, because my mother, she just told me that how you're dressed, or how you're dressed will be how you're dressed, or always try to be simple and clean, not too much. I like a bit of color. Obviously, I'm black, so bright colors look good on my skin, so that's why I like to wear a lot of bright stuff. So that's why. Soho, youthful, energetic style. You see a wide range. Obviously, you got the LGBT community as well thriving here, so there's a lot of colorful individuals you see dressed around. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Greg, if you were here, we'd do
Thank
that.
you guys. You guys, good luck.
Okay, bye.
No worries.
It's pretty much the only thing I watch in the house. Is the channel?
So, everyone dresses the way they like. Town that celebrates unique style. Look at that colorful neon sign. Is that a store? Soho Radio. A local radio station. Oh, he noticed me. He seems to be inviting me in.
I'm in love. Should I propose to him? I'm so confused.
We're recording, but you can join in.
Is that really okay?
Come on in. Tim. Hi there.
Hello.
And, this is our guest, Steve, who's in our guest today.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing good.
So yeah, we're just middle of the show, but yeah, please come in. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, did they restart?
Welcome back to the Soho Society Hour. But before we wind up the show, we must talk about.
We're here to talk
breakfast
about all the
brunch.
foreigners we hate, and one of them just walked into our program right now. Didn't even ask him to come in. Get out of here!
It's very hard to get a table.
Co & Co on Berwick Street.
Not Israeli, but very
Every
delicious.
yeah. Well, it's radio is slightly radioactive, right?
It's a talk show about Soho.
On coffee at the special. Right, thanks for listening, folks. We've been the Soho Society. This is Taylor Swift to end the show.
Nice choice.
Woo! Well done, folks.
Great job.
And good morning. Good to see you all. Thanks for coming in. I hope.
Well, thank you for inviting me. May I ask a bit about the program?
Absolutely. So it's a Soho Radio is an internet radio station, so you can listen online anywhere in the world, and you can listen again as well. Tim is my regular co-host and also does the news. Tim Lord.
So you're in charge of the
It's okay. You can call it a
Chair of
podcast.
the Soho Society, and I've lived in Soho since 1991.
I see. How do you like living here?
I mean, I grew up in the country, on a farm, in a village. And most of those places have changed fundamentally because of the way agriculture works. But strangely, what I love about Soho is
It does sound like
still
a
feels
sentient
like,
AI prompt walking
there's
around.
a community where you have people who have lived here for decades, and they all know one another. And they're connected to the businesses, they care about the businesses, and I think it's the best place in the world to live.
Really? Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. Good luck. See you
Really
later.
nice to see you. Have a
See
great
you
time in
guys.
Soho.
Good luck.
Have a good time.
Don't drink too much.
Bye-bye.
I won't drink at all.
The
I
best
can't.
place in the world to
I'm
live.
not human.
The people who live here seem to deeply love their community. And here I am on a main street. So, this is Regent Street. The street gently curves and is lined with stone buildings. It is really nice.
All right, give me a second here. I'll give you the
Wow.
link.
Look at that electronic ad.
Here's the link, Slindy.
It sure has impact. Oh my, so many people. So, this is Piccadilly Circus.
Well, Piccadilly my butt.
I'm gonna check the guidebook again. This fountain commemorates the philanthropic activities of the Earl of Shaftesbury, a nobleman born in Mayfair, a popular rendezvous point in London. Now I get it. There are so many people here. Yep, this is it. The look and atmosphere of this place. This is my image of London.
We'll take it over shortly, once our plans come together.
While taking in the afternoon sun, everyone on the street is enjoying the town.
Soon their screams will be heard far and wide.
And when I step off the main street, the whole atmosphere immediately changes.
As I take my real form.
Oh, there's a church over there. It's quite magnificent. Look, the bottom is built with bricks and the top is made of stone. The
Yeah.
style looks different.
I think they go around and speaking in Japanese for the original program,
Guidebook
and then it's
time.
dubbed.
This is St. Anne's Church, built in the later 17th century. Bombed by the German military during World War II, it was rebuilt in the 1990s, except for the clock tower that had escaped damage.
Let's put an end to that.
The clock on that tower is a bit unusual, and it is a miracle clock that survived the war.
But not anymore.
There are some people entering the church.
Hi.
Hello. Are you going to attend a service?
No, we're volunteers. We live locally. We wind it manually, and it's a very old clock, actually.
Oh, you're here to wind the clock? That sounds really interesting. May I watch?
And
Yes.
can I wind you up?
We're going up there right now.
Thank you so much.
We're just going to end the show on this. This is how I'm ending the stream, guys. Man, look at that printer. Wow, that is a heavy-duty laser printer.
The stairs are really narrow.
It'll be difficult to move past their bodies.
And steep. Ah, we've arrived. Is the mechanism for the clock in that cabinet?
The cabinet is really there to keep.
They had you fill out a form. Oh my God,
We'll get into
I didn't notice that. I thought you said that you knew that it would take some time. That's
Wow.
awesome, M.
So this is the mechanism of the miracle clock.
So, M, I was thinking about it, and all you're really going to want to do is understand how to pronounce Japanese. So, you just need to learn pronunciation. That would probably be the only thing you would really need to be good at. There's a particular program I'll send to you. And she, I think, is their like go-to dubbing person.
Made in 1884. There have been suggestions from time to time of installing an electronic winding system, but we've resisted it. Since it was restored after the bombing and so on, it was a major task to restore it. I think there's been a very strong culture of preserving it and keeping it.
As soon as she
in
starts to
running
speak,
order.
the video cuts again.
Whereas I imagine
Every
prior
time
to
she
that,
starts
it
to
was
speak, they just keep cutting
a
her
church
apart.
clock, and people wound it as always. But the fact it had been brought back is what made it special, I think.
This is definitely something to be treasured.
It's too bad it won't last. All of us will one day die. Even this clock will cease to exist. If its parts are changed, is it still the same clock? What if all of its parts are changed?
Oh, I see. I guess the force of the weights coming down pulls the wire to make the clock gears turn. How often
Gravity
do you
powered,
wind
baby.
it?
the teams wind 3 times a week.
I guess that's
3
not
times.
solar energy.
How long have you been volunteering?
Oh, many years. I'd say about 16, 17 years.
16 years we've been doing this, yeah.
For that long? Do you ever feel like it's too much trouble?
Do I really want to do this? I'm really tired. No, actually, I don't think I have had.
I
you
think
ever
our
had that?
commitment to it, or our sense of responsibility of keeping the clock running.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Slater. Exactly. It doesn't take 2 people to do that, but yet somehow
I think
they found a way to make
enjoy
it take 2 people.
the slightly quirky looking tower. It's not like any other church tower around here, which feels very Soho somehow.
P.S. much?
so much.
To Bob. Like, I'm pretty sure this will get me into heaven.
Goodbye. A miracle clock that survived the war. Protected by the people of Soho, it will probably continue to tick away for many years to come.
Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Simon Buckley.
I watch it with my kids. I think for me, for my kids, this is like a really good program. It's like global stuff, and it's done in this like really kind of like ingestible way. And I think the manners and everything is really good for them to see, because the characterization of the person going around is super polite and nice and everything, although very robotic and certainly human.
And tell you something of the history of my church. Soho was originally a pasture. Royals and nobles enjoyed hunting here. It is said that the hunting call Soho is how it got its name.
So it was a hunting
The town
hall.
was developed from the 16th century, with many nobles and wealthy people moving here. As the neighboring
Oh, no,
areas,
this is
such
just
as
somebody
Mayfair,
else,
began to
Medusa. This
develop,
isn't even the
many
narrator.
of them left Soho.
I'm doing some with my daughter.
You can't really
Yeah,
talk about
it's
the
not.
history
It's
of
definitely
Soho
not as
without
aggressive
coming
as
to
yours.
Soho Square.
But
In
yeah,
this
dude,
corner of Soho Square
NHK
is the
Slater
French
or
Protestant
Slindy
church,
for
built to serve
spoken.
the French.
The reason why I love NHK is because there's so much. You hear so many people speaking regular Japanese, not like anime Japanese or anything like that. And there's just a ton of programs on there that you can kind of still get new stuff and like new content or whatever. But it's really good for that. And then they have a whole section on learning Japanese over here. It's not super deep, but there's entire programs on here and PDFs and a bunch of other stuff too. So they have entire sections here. This is kind of fun. This is a drama show, and it's like a series to practice your listening. And it's like a drama, and it's this girl from Taiwan, and she's coming into Japan, and she's working for a hotel, and it's really silly, and but it's good for practicing listening and stuff. Audio clips from words. Low cost of shrubbery. Shrubbery might be the solution for the branching, though, right? Shrubbery! I demand a shrubbery! A shrubbery! Let me see. This is awesome. I think this would work for the leaves, dude. I wonder how expensive it is. Wait, this might actually be good enough for creating... Dude, this this might be good enough for creating the creating the images for the the different parts of the trees, like creating the flat textures. Random. It'd be really wild to use this for a LOD. Like the closer you get, the more you see this. Blender has a super easy tree extension as well. Yeah. The problem is we're doing something kind of weird for how the trees are generated. So if anyone hasn't seen it, I don't think I can show it right now. Let me give it a shot. Here's where we're at with the tree. This is what we got. It bounces into place because gravity takes a hold. So this is our prototype tree. I'm just working on getting the loading going so that we can pop it into the actual scenario that we have. And then we'll put a tree, we'll put a house like right underneath this branch here and then make it so you got to try and cut it down and everything like that. So it's a work in progress, but it's definitely coming together. It's starting to look like a real tree. And we just need to add leaves and stuff to it, really. It's just like, it's like a dead evergreen, right? Like a dead fir tree at this point. Okay, sweetie. I said okay. I heard you a million times. I'll be there in a second. All right, I got to go. We're going to read to my daughter. My daughter! The shrubbery! 27 of you hanging out. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, there's a lot of cool programming on here, Slendy. Who are we going to raid? Who do we got? It's Fiera? Fiera's always streaming. Are you streaming, Fiera? It's LJ. We could do that's LJ. We'll do it's LJ.
Let's grab this bit of information. I don't know anything about ports really, so I don't know if this is a solid port or not.
All right, guys. Much love. I will see you guys later. It's going to be a long one till I see you. And but I'm going to I'll be back Friday, maybe. I think. All right. Bye bye. See, I read. I'll reply to you privately. And too, Bob, I'm going to send you that video tomorrow morning. My time. All right. Enjoy your week. Embrace it. I will try. See you guys. Bye bye.